pressure of constantly looking for funds to maintain the level of work that they need to do.
When Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, insulted Princess Anne, Prince William's reaction surprised everyone. Buckingham Palace often deals with tradition and tension, but sometimes family drama becomes public in ways that cannot be ignored. What started as a simple event became a scandal involving the royal family. The incident happened during a gathering at Windsor Castle to celebrate one of Princess Anne's charity milestones. Laura Lopes, who is not a princess and usually stays out of the spotlight, made a sharp comment about Princess Anne. Laura, an art curator and mother of three, has connections to the royal family through her mother's marriage to King Charles, which means her words are often taken seriously. Princess Anne is known for her hard work. She recently completed her 20,000th engagement, which is why many call her the hardest working royal. She is involved with over 300 charities and conducts more events than any other royal. The reception brought together family, senior royals, and a few guests to honor Anne's years of dedication, especially her work with Save the Children and her international visits. Prince William was there to support his aunt. He respects Anne for her consistent commitment to duty. He admired her as a child and often considered her a role model for handling his responsibilities. He expected people to admire his aunt on this day, but he was caught off guard. Laura, invited by her mother, stood with a small group when she made her remark. She said Anne's old-fashioned view of duty was out of touch with modern Britain. She implied that younger royals like William and Kate brought a fresher energy, suggesting Anne belonged to another era. Her words felt casual but stung those around her. For most people, such a comment might not matter, but Anne is different. She has dedicated her life to service without caring about fashion or popularity. She doesn't seek applause and avoids lavish displays. To undermine her in public, even indirectly, challenged her very identity. Some guests felt uncomfortable, others looked away, hoping it would pass. But William heard everything. William's reaction was quick. He is known for his calmness and his training to diffuse situations. However, his loyalty to those he loves runs deep. Anne has always been one of those people. What made it worse was that Anne was close enough to hear. She maintained her usual stoic demeanor, but those who knew her noticed the slight tightening of her lips and the firmness in her posture. Anne has faced criticism throughout her life, from being overshadowed by her brothers to being questioned about her choices. But hearing it from family and public hurt more. William found the insult unacceptable. He saw Anne as a woman who defended the crown through tough times, far worse than anything Laura had faced. He could not remain silent while someone without any official role undermined her. Yet, he understood the risks of a public confrontation. He had seen how one wrong moment could make headlines. Still, his anger was evident. His clenched fists, intense gaze, and steps toward Laura showed he would not ignore this. Tension quickly filled the room. Conversation stopped. Guests left glasses of champagne untouched, and eyes darted nervously between William and Laura. It was a moment the palace feared, internal conflict on display. Though William didn't raise his voice, the silence after Laura's words made his anger louder than any shout. Anne, practical as ever, tried to steer the evening back on track. She shifted the group's focus to her work, sharing stories from her early trips with Save the Children and thanking supporters. It was her way of calming the room, but the atmosphere remained tense. William stayed close, his protective instincts heightened, unwilling to let the insult go unnoticed. That night at Windsor Castle, William's anger became a topic of its own, one that showed the hidden problems within the royal family were not resolved. But this was just the beginning. William's private stand, defending Princess Anne in a tense family meeting. The next morning, William asked to speak with Anne privately. He had spent much of the night thinking about the situation, feeling protective of his family. William usually avoids conflict, but his loyalty often drives him to act when his loved ones are hurt. Anne expected this. She knew her nephew well enough to realize he wouldn't let the issue go. When they met in her sitting room at Gatcombe Park, Anne remained calm. She listened as William expressed his frustration. He couldn't understand why Laura, who had benefited from Charles's marriage, would criticize someone who worked so hard for the family. Anne shrugged off the insult. "You get used to it, William. People think they know what this job should be." To her, Laura's comment was just another dismissal. William, however, felt differently. He respected his aunt too much to ignore what he saw as disrespect. He urged Anne to address the behavior, especially from within the family. He reminded her of her sacrifices, like missed holidays and endless public appearances, which helped build the monarchy's reputation. To him, ignoring Laura's words would dishonor that effort. Anne appreciated his loyalty, but advised him to hold back. She had learned that reacting only empowered careless comments, but William had grown up in a world where even whispers could become news. He worried that Laura's remark might spread, creating a narrative of division within the monarchy that the press would eagerly exploit. For William, silence felt risky, not strong. Meanwhile, news of the tense moment reached Camilla, the queen consort. Laura was usually off-limits for public criticism since she was not a working royal. Camilla wanted to protect Laura and her son Tom from palace politics, believing they deserved some freedom from scrutiny. However, Camilla knew her daughter could sometimes be too outspoken. When she heard about William's anger, she felt it was an overreaction that could escalate tensions. Charles found himself in a difficult spot. As king, his role was to unite the family. As a father and husband, he understood Camilla's need to protect her children. He had worked hard to help Laura and Tom feel included, even if they did not have titles. Now, one comment threatened that delicate balance. For William, this issue was not just about Laura. It was about respect for Anne, and, by extension, respect for the crown. He left his conversation with Anne, but wasn't unwilling to drop the matter. He thought it needed to be acknowledged, either by Laura or at least by Camilla. This determination created a deeper rift. William started to pull away from Camilla subtly. He avoided joint appearances and kept conversations short. Others in the palace noticed the change. For years, William had kept his feelings toward his stepmother mostly private, remaining polite yet cautious. This incident added a frostiness that even seasoned courtiers could see. To those outside the palace, everything appeared fine. But inside, William stayed angry. Anne remained calm. Camilla stayed guarded, and the atmosphere in the royal family shifted quietly. William and Laura's tense encounter escalates royal tensions. Informal gatherings among the royal family have become more cautious. Courtiers adjust seating to keep William and Laura apart. Charles tries to ease the situation, reminding William that Laura did not mean harm, but William disagrees. For him, the impact of Laura's words on Anne matters more than her intent. This tension shows how fragile royal family relationships are, and Charles faces another challenge in maintaining family unity. If Anne had dealt with the issue alone, it might have faded away, but William won't let it go. Soon, the tension spreads through the royal family. The first clear sign appears at a charity gala at Clarence house, which hosts many familiar faces from art and culture. Laura Lopes, Camilla's daughter, is there as well. As an experienced art curator, Laura is confident, well-dressed, and happily engages with guests about her work. But when William enters with Catherine, the mood changes. Guests feel the tension, even if they don't understand the cause. Laura carries herself with confidence. She talks enthusiastically about an upcoming exhibition she is organizing, laughs with family friends, and poses for photos. However, William keeps his distance, his face showing no warmth. Catherine notices and tries to diffuse the tension by chatting with Camilla, but her calm demeanor doesn't entirely hide the strain. At one point, Laura and William meet. What should have been a polite greeting becomes a reminder of their divide. Those nearby overhear William greet Laura stiffly. Laura responds with a hint of defiance, hoping everyone can move past a casual comment. She believes the issue has become too serious. To her, she did not insult Anne, but William sees her refusal to acknowledge the hurt as a lack of respect. Camilla notices this exchange and intervenes, guiding Laura away with a protective gesture. Camilla offers a smile that doesn't hide her frustration. She feels it is unfair that her daughter, who did not seek the public eye, is judged by standards she never agreed to. Camilla tells Laura to let it go, but Laura's pride is involved. As someone who built a career on art, she does not want to be overshadowed by family drama. Meanwhile, Anne maintains her usual poise. She spends most of the evening speaking with donors and encouraging younger members of the royal household. Yet Catherine tells friends later that Anne seems more burdened than usual, carrying not just family responsibilities, but also the weight of unwanted conflict. In the following days, new issues arise. The palace staff starts discussing what they have seen. Whispers about William's disapproval, Laura's comment, and Camilla's reaction begin circulating within the palace. While the public remains unaware, the royal family buzzes with speculation. The risk William feared, that a careless comment could turn into a tale of division, grows more real. A family meeting exposes deeper royal fractures. Charles called a private family meeting at Buckingham Palace because he sensed tension. He wanted to clarify issues before they got worse. In a small drawing room away from the grand state chambers, William, Anne, Camilla, Laura, and Catherine sat in uneasy silence. Charles began by saying that family unity is their best strength. He reminded them that the monarchy's position in modern Britain is fragile, and even small private disagreements could shake public confidence. His tone was calm, but his eyes showed his worry. William spoke first, firmly stating that a remark about Anne had crossed a line. He shared his admiration for her selfless work over the years. His words were powerful because everyone knew how much he respected Anne. Laura did not back down. She claimed she did not mean to offend and felt her words had been taken too seriously. She explained that she spoke casually and did not mean to attack anyone. It surprised her that her comment caused such a disruption. Anne stepped in to help. She recognized that the comment hurt, but asked everyone to prevent the situation from escalating. Her steady voice reflected the resilience she was known for, but even her calming words could not ease the charged atmosphere. Camilla then spoke with frustration. She reminded William that her children had avoided public roles to prevent this type of scrutiny. She argued that involving Laura in palace disputes was unfair since she had her own life and career. William countered that comments made within the family hold weight, regardless of titles. The meeting ended without a clear resolution. Charles encouraged reconciliation but could not force agreement. Anne left quietly, returning to her work with her usual steadiness. William left feeling unsatisfied and that his point had not been acknowledged. Laura and Camilla felt protective and defensive, believing Laura had been unfairly singled out. After the meeting, a deeper divide lingered, subtle but real. The public saw smiles and ceremony, but trust had frayed inside the palace. For William, it became a matter of principle. For Camilla and Laura, it was about defending their family's dignity. For Anne, it was another burden she carried silently while focusing on her duties. No grand resolution came, no public apologies, no dramatic reconciliations. Instead, the situation settled into an uneasy truce. William stayed close to Anne, supporting her as he always had. Laura continued her art career, knowing her relationship with William would never fully heal. Camilla remained protective. Charles stayed as the peacemaker, and Anne continued her work as always. The insult from a simple remark had grown into something bigger, not just because of the words, but also because of what they meant: respect, loyalty, pride, and the delicate balance of a family under constant scrutiny. While the cameras did not capture it, those living in the palace knew that one evening's comment left a lasting mark.